Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2001 U.S. Open Table Tennis Championships, a proud part of the ITTF International Pro Tour. This is our second men's semifinalists. Please welcome the athletes and the officials. And our players for this second semifinals. From Canada, former winner of this event in 1992, Johnny Huang. And his opponent from Taipei, Chih. And our officials for this match.
Assistant umpire from Japan, Atsuka Miyazaki. Umpire for this men's singles match from Germany, Wilfried Schumacher. Please begin.
Welcome to the 2001 U.S. Open Table Tennis Championship, the final stop on the ITTF Pro Tour in Fort Lauderdale. Hello, I'm Sean O'Neill along with Dave Williams of U.S. Table Tennis. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about today's action in the men's semifinal?
The second semifinal is the table tennis version of the American soap opera, The Young and the Restless. Johnny Huang is the Restless, a veteran, 38 years old, playing from Canada. Sean, you know about Johnny Huang. You have played against Johnny Huang.
Johnny has definitely been one of the most difficult players on the North American scene. He has won the North American Championships a number of times, and he's even a U.S. Open defending champion.
Yes, 1992 he won in Midland, Texas, but he plays a unique style, and he is almost a fixture on the world. He's ranked 37th in the world, but he has had huge wins in his career. In this tournament alone, he took out Werner Schlager, the number 3 seed, 23-21 in the fifth. He beat Jan-Ove Waldner in the 1996 Olympics, and he could do it again here. He is a shake hand, pips out hitter, has no conscience. He whacks the ball and whacks it again. Always a bet for a great match. He's playing against Chuan, who is only world number 33, but is a young phenom on the tour. He is actually very highly ranked on the ITTF Pro Tour. He is 8th in Pro Tour points, even though he's ranked only 33 in the world. Does not train in his home country, trains in Germany.
And one of the biggest surprises with Chuan is he played both of his teammates in this tournament. Not generally something that you see in international play where you have a team event or doubles. This being the ITTF Pro Tour Singles Championship, he had to go through quite a home field in order to make it to the semifinal.
He may not be a household name even in Chinese Taipei, but the point is that this young man is a great player. He plays very well against pen holders, but he's not going to face one today. He's going to face a hard-hitting, off-the-bounce playing, pips-out player, and Chuan is not unknown because he reached the grand finals of the Pro Tour last year.
All right, the action is set, and we'll be right back with the U.S. Open from Fort Lauderdale.
minutes.
Welcome back. I'm Sean O'Neill along with Dave Williams of U.S. Table Tennis. We've got the second men's semifinal match here at the U.S. Open in Fort Lauderdale.
We should see some fireworks here. Chuan has beaten both of his national teammates from Chinese Taipei. He's here in the burgundy jersey with the black sleeves. Very spectacular player as he warms up with Johnny Huang in the blue jersey. Chuan earlier in the tournament also took out Krienga from Greece, who was a very accomplished player.
A little bit of a surprise, a real hard-hitting match. Look to see Johnny Huang, who plays with a pips-out rubber on both his forehand and backhand to really set the tempo, because he is going to be smashing as much as possible, with Jiang, the younger of the two, trying to get as much topspin play, hopefully forcing Johnny off the table while at the same time delivering some heavy blows from both his forehand and backhand side.
And again, because he's not playing with the same surface as the other players, Johnny Huang can often misdirect his opponents, takes the ball on the rise, hits it down the line, cross court. A good bet to win a game in any match, regardless of the matchup.
His experience, former player from the Canton province before immigrating to Canada and representing Canada in the World Championships and the Olympics you mentioned. He did upset kind of the Michael Jordan of table tennis, Jan Ove Waldner of Sweden, in front of the King of Sweden in Atlanta, kind of double dipped him there. But Johnny is very strong, even though he's older at 38. Physically, he's just as strong as he was when he first arrived on the North American continent.
May have the fastest hands on the men's tour.
I think that most players agree with that, and no one likes to draw Johnny early just because he is so high risk in most of his shots that you really almost have to play the defensive mode in the first one or two. See 2 net serves to start out the match.
And he's playing against a young man who is basically
3 net serves.
An independent tourer on the ITTF Pro Tour. Chuan travels independently of his national team. He's on the tour. He's on the tour to get the points and get the experience, and his game is showing the benefits of that activity.
Johnny with the first strong forehand smash. Oh, this is going to be great, because it looks like right now that Chuan from Taipei will be backing up a little bit, which will extend the rallies. Normally, if Johnny gets his attack in first while his opponent's up at the table, and get a lot of unforced errors.
Well, Chuan has clearly been the creator of the most spectacular shots of this tournament. Yesterday, both against his teammate Cheng Peng-Lang and against Krienga, he was ripping balls from the barrier.
He's been a fan favorite, especially the junior players here at the U.S. Open, to see what is possible with the modern game.
It's all about physics, and this man has mastered those physics. And at this point, Johnny is again hoping to get out of the box strong. He's got the advantage of
Look at
a
that.
different kind of game, and you saw it right there.
Great combination. What Johnny does so well is he pivots from a strong backhand smash. And we'll see it here. Quick backhand, step around forehand, and then step around forehand again, and constantly moving the ball. 1 to the backhand, 2 to the backhand, and 1 wide out to the forehand.
And you can see a different technical motion there. It's a flat shot. His wheelhouse is moving horizontally through the ball rather than an angle up to create the spin.
Right. Johnny will be smashing, per se, versus what we'll see with the younger Taipei player with a lot of topspin.
And this is a very high-risk game that really harkens back to the late 60s and early 70s.
Before inverted rubber became as thick as it was, there was much more hitting of the ball, similar to tennis with a flatness, as opposed to the topspin that you even see in tennis these days. But what happens is you don't play against that style so often, so when it does come up, your timing really gets put off.
And so we'll be seeing the player in the blue jersey in this match basically also being less affected by spin, because this low friction surface that allows him to strike the ball forward also means that Chuan's spin will not have as much effect on his ball.
The only problem is Chuan is probably the heaviest topspin in this tournament, so of course he'll still have to deal with quite a bit already.
And you're going to see almost an explosion sound. You're going to hear a sound off Chuan's racket, unlike we heard in the last match.
Right. Here we now trailing 3-6. Johnny knows, just like Jean-Michel Saive in the previous men's singles semifinal, if you can get that first game under your belt, you have a huge advantage.
Well, Johnny, again, as he got here, played some very, very difficult matches, and one of the most amazing games of the tournament came in the round before. when he won a 30-28 game against Sun Min-ho from Korea.
Johnny has never been one to back off of a challenge, and when he's smashing, he just keeps coming, a little ever-ready bunny right there. Just, you can't stop him. I mean, and it's the worst thing. What I found when I've played him as a player is he forces you to start smashing. The ball's coming so fast. Oh, look at that backhand move.
That's what we expected to see here. Out of nowhere, 15 feet back from the table, Chuan uncorks this untouchable
off of a
ball.
defensive shot. Johnny still putting the power, and then boom.
That is untouchable.
Misdirection to the max to tie it up at 6-all.
And there's no way to anticipate the direction of that ball.
But that is the type of shot that I see Johnny doing a lot, where he gets his opponent off balance and forces them to make an abbreviated stroke because there's no time to reply for this quick forehand.
And he plays almost without a conscience. He'll hit and miss, hit the next shot exactly the same way. And he has in this tournament won 24-22 in the fifth against Robert Gardos. He's won 23-21 in the fifth against Werner Schlager. He won that 30-28 game.
But he's definitely most lethal at the critical juncture of any match just because of his style. He just takes high-risk shots off the bounce and forces his opponent to leave the table, and giving him more time to react to the heavy topspin.
And perhaps more than anybody we've seen in our coverage early in the day today, he's a player who wants to hit 21 before he misses 19. There's not a lot of ebb and flow to him.
Right. His control of the timing is that there is no timing.
Yes, he plays flat across the entire match, which is what makes him so difficult for other players to handle.
Usually you can gauge the speed of your opponent, but Johnny just comes at you fast. Look at this great shot. Oh, super rally by Chuan from Taipei.
And what work he has to put out to earn that point. Look at the motion here. He's covering lots of ground. Johnny just banging away, and he's just able to continue to swing hard. A test of his conditioning and his technique.
There's an unforced error. A lot of players feel that when they're playing Johnny, if they can get a few freebies, and it's not so difficult to deal with his fast-paced hand. But Johnny has been playing the big points extremely big here at the U.S. Open.
So what in your mind is the key to a player of 38 years old being able to hold in there against such a talented young athlete?
Well, it's really the years and years of training, going back to when he probably started as an 8 or 9-year-old, knowing that the best defense is a strong offense, and he just keeps pounding the ball. Look at this. What a rally.
Like nothing we've seen so far today. And again, Huang is flat. He's driving the ball to angles. He's cracking the ball, and the power topspin that returns eventually just forces him into a mistake.
Right now with a 3-point lead, Chuan with the serve, if he can take this, he can guarantee he'll be right in there after the next sequence of serve. Oh, monster backhand move.
And again, it's almost, for American audiences, it's like throwing a Frisbee. You're squaring up your body, you're reaching your elbow out, and then crack.
He is extremely powerful, and what Johnny did well in both the quarters and the previous matches is to start to move the ball around a little bit so that you don't have the younger players with these big strokes get such free swings. And there's an unforced error by Johnny trying to do a little backhand attack of his own.
Well, and I think also what we see here is the benefit of a player who is match hard. Yuan is not trying to withhold his energy. He's not trying to save himself for large tournaments. He's adopted and bought into the concept of the ITTF Pro Tour, that if he's out there every week on continent after continent, that he is developing his game in a way that wouldn't be possible in his home country. He trains frequently in Germany.
That's what most of the players have found, is when they jump on the Pro Tour, they instantly improve just because you're playing the best players in the world. I mean, if you don't have either the support of your government, which the Taipei team does come to most of the Pro Tours, but Chuan on his own has decided to do his own little entourage and see what type of damage, and he played in the Pro Tour finals last year.
I mean, he is a player who doesn't get a lot of ink per se, but you can see from his performance here and his performance in front of us right now that he's an extremely talented young athlete.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that in Osaka, Taipei didn't play or finish as high as they could have, because they do have some real big name players, but there was a critical match, I think it was against Greece, that they lost, that moved them back into the lower than top 8 spots. So
and the nature of that format does that, Sean. That if you lose a critical match early, then you can do no better than a certain ranking.
It's a quarterfinal match. They went into then a loser's draw, and I'm sure they played some of their up-and-coming junior players, which then allowed them or forced them to finish around 16th in the world.
Well, one of the key concepts of the Pro Tour is that there is a reason to play consistently, and there's a reason to play hard all the time. That the possibility of going out and not putting out your best effort is not really consistent with success on the Pro Tour.
Well, and we will see the Jean-Michel Saves, who did lose in his first semis. He'll reap the rewards because he will qualify most likely for the finals, assuming he does well in the upcoming tournaments. Korea coming up in September, so look forward to seeing him on a future telecast as well.
And ITTF Pro Tour events have a combined purse here, like at the U.S. Open, an $81,000 purse. And if you look at the entire season coming up to the Grand Tour finals, then we have coming up the Korea Open, Japan Open, Germany, into Holland and into Sweden, and then the Danish Open. And then when all is said and done, probably $1.25 million is on the line for these athletes.
This has been such a tremendous benefit to allowing players to play full-time and not just fully be funded by their governments.
And this is new, to earn a living on the tour, as Chuan is doing and as he's showing the benefits of right now, is something that hasn't existed until the last 2 or 3 years.
Johnny trailing 13-17. Sticking with the forehand serve, great step around, but little jam there in the middle.
And again, that's one more unexpected shot. That the concept of the 40-millimeter ball is that maybe one more ball will be in play. Chuan played that to its maximum benefit there.
Yeah, we have seen with the size increase of the ball that people that do smash a little bit seem to have been able to take more advantage early on, though we've also seen a lot of straight balls and counterattacks off the block that really didn't exist with the smaller size.
And as in contrast to Jean-Michel Save, look at Johnny Huang's face and you have no idea what the score is.
He's truly a Bjorn Borg of kind of table tennis, where whether he's won a point or lost a point, he's playing the next point as if it was 0-0 or if it was 19 all. You just don't know. You can't feed off of his emotional loss or strength. Now down 18-15 with a nice deep serve. That's the trouble. Once Chiang gets the first topspin, the rhythm's on his timing. He starts to dictate and spin the ball where he wants to.
And you see a rounder stroke that was found with Yu Buchon. You see more rotation, a little less speed, but devastating impact once it hits the table.
With the smaller body size, he's also a little bit quicker. He's able to pivot around that backhand at will, and against a player like Johnny Huang, if you can't step around the backhand and he starts nailing you wide and wide, you're going to be in trouble. And there we see a little frustration from Johnny. First game to Chuan of Taipei, 21-15.
And as we look at him finish this first game up, we see more of what we've seen all week here at the U.S. Open. Good serve, and then a very strong, powerful forehand.
Johnny with a little frustrating backhand scoop off the end of the table. We'll be getting ready for the second game.
And again, Chuan is uncoached here. He's in his corner reflecting on his own opportunity.
Johnny Huang has Vincent Combernier with some advice, and we'll be right back with more information from USA Table Tennis.
We'll get some.
Welcome back to the men's singles semifinal at the 2001 ITTF Pro Tour US Open.
As we go to the second game of this second men's semifinal, we'd like to let you know that this event is hosted on the ITTF Pro Tour by USA Table Tennis, a national governing board of the United States Olympic Committee and a member-based organization that enhances the growth of table tennis in the United States.
And for all of our internet-savvy viewers, you can go to ittfprotour.com for the latest results and rankings and profiles on all the players.
And usatt.org if you want to see what's happening in the United States.
Johnny Huang definitely needs to get the wheels rolling right here, trailing 1-0.
And again, Sean, as we said before, that we're not going to see a basic change in tactics. We're just going to see an effort to
look at that backhand
that
powerful loop. That shot was not possible 2 years ago.
And it overpowered Johnny.
Like nice forehand loop here, another forehand loop. powerful backhand. You just see the racket and form swinging through the ball so hard.
And Sean, again, if you take a look at that shot as we watch this point, you see almost a little extra turn in that there is actually more pace and more spin on his backhand than his forehand.
You know, the torque that the players are getting these days is just amazing. From off the table, from up on the table, just shooting bullets from anywhere on the court.
If you're a young athlete watching this broadcast, watch from the bottom up. These players begin with good foot position, and they actually swing from their legs.
Look at this coverage. Look at this. Oh, good try, good try. He realized that he was just about 3 inches long on that last ball.
And Chuan, as you can see from the replay, there's no ball he doesn't want to attack, and there's no ball he doesn't think he can hit. And he's there again.
Johnny continuing to apply constant pressure, getting his forehand kill into play. Oh, there's a net ball that Johnny realizes that if he keeps getting those against him, he's going to have more than a player to play against.
Well, many of these top players at some time in their career or another have used a combination of live practice partners and robots to develop the technique of their game. And as Chuan approaches this match, it's like Johnny Huang is that. The ball's always going to be there. It's just a matter of whether you can swing it through for a winner.
Johnny's balls generally, okay, now the referee's asking him to play table tennis. There are no breaks other than when the service changes. Then you can go and towel off or take a moment to regroup. Great backhand combo there.
And there's that drill-like thing that we're talking about where he definitely just wants to continue to repeat that motion and force his opponent to make a mistake.
Johnny staying with the forehand serve. Good backhand opening wide, but not wide enough, and Chuan from Taipei was able to step around. That's going to be his goal. Step around that back and make a heavy topspin to force Johnny to back up a little bit, so then he can come in with either the strong backhand or forehand.
As you watch the replay there, that ball actually hit shallow. So unlike we saw in the women's matches where many of the blocks are designed to be deep on the table, making that topspin bounce a little short gives Johnny's pips some trouble, takes away his angle.
Exactly. Oh, very good misdirection on that one. Johnny feinted like he's going to the backhand last second, flipped out to the forehand, caught his opponent a little flat-footed.
Chuan took half a step the wrong way before he saw what was going on.
Just not enough time in table tennis to have to guess where your opponent's going. You have to see it right at the point of contact and make a quick movement to cover the table.
And typical of how we described it, John Huang is back in this match now, down only a point on Chuan's serve.
Excellent backhand play by Johnny Huang of Canada. He's also trying out for the World Cup. At the U.S. Open, we have the North American Championships, which is the pre-qualifier for the World Cup singles competition. So many of the players are looking forward to playing Johnny in that.
And a very unusual point, as we were talking about the North American Championships there, a near ace. A topspin serve down the line, designed really to be a clean winner, and it was.
Before we went to the 40 millimeter ball increase, there was much more attempts to serve aces, even though not as likely as they are in tennis. But with the increase in ball size to 40 millimeter, you just don't see the service winners to the same degree as we saw with the smaller ball.
And again, Chuan is not a conservative player. That time he lost a point because he was going to continue to attack from a bad position.
Yeah, he needs to stay closer to the table. If you're 15 feet off the table, you're not going to have the same timing nor be able to deal with, even though Johnny's ball is a lot flatter and it'll come up versus diving from most topspin balls that come at you. He needs to be close to the table so he can dictate and not basically be catching Johnny's attacks.
And again, if he's deeper, he's going to have to cover more ground laterally, less likely to have his body in the correct position to hit the winner.
Johnny going with the serve to the forehand, the trick to the backhand, couldn't make the combination play, and is now trailing 8-10 the second game. Here we see a replay. Quick backhand, another return, catching Johnny a little bit slow. Oh, look at that backhand play.
He is equally strong from both sides. Clearly, Chuan can hit a winner from anywhere in the court.
And he gives himself more time by taking us half a step back. There's the powerful backhand and waiting to see which way Johnny goes before he delivers the final crack to it.
And then springing forward from his ready position once he identifies where the ball's going.
Johnny went with the backhand serve on that point. You see Johnny normally likes to serve with the forehand to force that wide angle into his opponent's backhand. but hasn't had much success with that so far with Chuan.
Sean, as you know, all the players at this level glue their rackets to enhance their performance. Does John also glue his pips?
It was funny. Johnny was one of the first players around the world who plays with the pips out rubber to realize if he re-glued them like most all the inverted players do, that they'd have a little extra spring and kick. So that does allow Johnny to open up a little easier on some of the underspin balls, while at the same time giving the extra kick when he is smashing off the bounce.
And he's pulled even again here.
Like I said, Johnny, you're never going to shut him out. As you mentioned in the opening, it's easy to win a game or two against Johnny, but that constant attack. Look at this right here. Just moving the ball around, and it's not just placement, it's placement with pace.
And Sean, as you suggested there, that although Chuan was in that point, he was too deep. And John was able to take the ball on the rise and get it wide to his back.
Scores 11-12 now. Nice backhand third ball attack coming from an unforced error off the serve. If the ball is an inch too high against the players at this level, you'll see the strong, powerful backhand. Again, Johnny just backpedaling, happy to put his racket on the ball.
And it's easy to get the feeling here that this is an extremely tournament-sharp player.
He is really Chuan from Taipei in the maroon shirt, playing the new generation game with the power on both sides, great footwork, and super serve and serve return. He really doesn't get out of position off of either of those elements of the game.
And again, the key to this service return is that you very quickly anticipate the nature of the spin, and you're able to step in and put the ball in a strategic place that denies your opponent's offense.
There's nice third ball attack by Johnny. Normally you wouldn't think of a backhand being so aggressive, but Johnny, by staying close, cracks it right off the bounce. And again, he's often going wide to the opponent's backhand, which really limits the choices that you'd have to return the ball.
He fooled Chuan that time with fake backspin. The ball didn't have quite as much spin as he thought. Popped it up and he smacked the return.
Now it's 14-13 with Johnny Huang from Canada in the blue. 3 more serves to go in this set. Very strong opening there. Tied up at 14-all.
It's very hard to make Chuan push.
He can flip any of the underspin serves, and he can drive any of the balls that come off the end. So Johnny going back to the forehand serve, stepping around just a little too slow, and I think that ball clipped the top of the net as well.
And again, because he's not an inverted player, he doesn't have the option of that flat-out power loop at that point. He's got to take that narrow opportunity above the net.
That really forces Johnny to always be in super physical condition, because he doesn't have the luxury of creating that top spin or that margin that he has to smash.
And on that point, Chuan was able to push extremely short off the serve return, very short, and then deep to the same side, and catches one of the world's fastest players on the wrong foot.
With the serve, up 16-14 in the first game in his pocket. He's got to think he should be at 19-16 after this set of serves. Shoot. 17-14 now.
Again, with the ball in hand, he has a huge advantage here to hold his opponent at bay and take this second game out and put it in the bag.
Oh, little side spin off both the serve and serve return. Forced Chuan to go long with that push.
And even at this level, sometimes a player's serve can create a problem on the return. They get their own spin back.
Right, especially off of a player like Johnny who plays with pips. You're not sure how much the ball has grabbed off of your serve on their racket. Here you see Johnny with a quick little hit that goes long. But often, you'll serve the ball, Johnny will hit it with the pips, and you'll misjudge the amount of spin on the ball. There's a great counterattack by Johnny Huang.
And again, that ball was to the middle.
Final serve for Chuan of Taipei in this set of 5. Taking his time, thinking what serve would Johnny feel most comfortable with? No spin serve. Nice backing loop. Oh, a little deep on it. I think more so Johnny's quick block didn't have that much spin on it, so when he's lifting up, didn't have enough topspin to bring the ball down.
And Chuan was a little soft on that return. I think he maybe had responded to the situation a little bit, said, get this ball into play, and he didn't get the usual advantage.
Johnny is so effective with the change of pace and the timing and the flatness of his shot that you always have to create your own spin. If you don't, just lift it up. There's a good loop, another good loop. Good placement. See, Johnny got him off balance on that last down the line forehand shot to bring it even to 18 all. You see, back to the backhand, down the line to the forehand. Chuan unable to get the ball up and over the net.
So typical of Johnny Huang, he survived a difficult situation. He's down 14-16, now back to even with the ball in his hand.
This is Johnny's strike. Oh, great reply. Great reply, getting it out to the forehand.
There don't seem to be any weaknesses in this game here. Again, a forehand, then a backhand, and again, Johnny Huang is a step too far to his own right.
Really seems, Dave, that so far today we've seen a lot of when the backhands come into play during a rally that players like to take them down the line. A little bit more top spin, wrist torque to take their opponent out to the forehand, get him off balance, and then to come back in with another forehand attack, sometimes inside out.
Typical of Johnny Huang on that point. He takes a risk, hits the flat ball off the serve, misses. It just seems like it doesn't matter what the score is, he's going to take his shots.
You know, that's his bread and butter. If he's not smashing, he's picking up the ball himself. So, oh, that was a very, very strong one. Even though it might have seemed risky because he was smashing it, that was his only chance off with a high serve return to bring it within 1 point to 19-20 with the serve down game 2 of this men's semifinal match.
Make a prediction, Sean. What will he serve?
If I was Johnny, I'd go a little bit probably wide into the backhand, hopefully to get into once the backhand. Oh, what a move. He was stepping on the backhand slip.
It sounds like all three of you were thinking the same thing.
Oh, what a great try. 2-point difference. Johnny's got to think, okay, here we see a quick step around, up and a slip. Too tough.
Extremely strong performance by Chuan.
Again, we see him sitting there, getting ready for game 3, and we'll be back with more championship table tennis action right after this. We'll be back with more information. We've got a stray leg on the screen. Welcome back to more action here at the US Open with Chuan of Taipei leading 2-0, 21-15, 21-19 over a very strong Johnny Huang from Canada in game 3 of this men's semifinal.
Chuan is on a roll. He has been on a campaign to bring himself forward in the world rankings. He is in the red shirt here playing against Johnny Huang from Canada in the blue. He has been very impressive in the first 2 games. And it's up to Johnny Huang now to try to change something to bring himself back into this match.
Johnny with the serve, as we saw at the end of the last game. Johnny currently ranked 37th in the world, but as all players on the ITTF Pro Tour know, he can beat anyone at any given time.
Nobody's safe, and this lead is not safe. I mean, again, he plays with such consistent power that he has an equal chance to win this game as he was before the first ball was made.
But I will tell you that Chuan of Taipei's got to feel better having 2 games in his pocket than playing with a 2-0 deficit. against a player of this magnitude.
What was very impressive yesterday when he played his teammate Cheng Peng Lung, this is a player who was number 4 in the world that he was facing. And he was completely undaunted. He dropped the first game at 16 and then won 21-19, 23-21, 21-9. So he was very unimpressed with his own countryman's credentials.
And the ability to finish it out in such decisive manner. If he does get a lead, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into overdrive and seeing if he can really shut Johnny down. But with Johnny's hand speed, it's tough to ever play faster than Johnny because he's got the fastest hands on the tour.
Well, this is a stern test, really, of Chuan's training strategy at this point. He's worked hard, he's active, and if anybody should be able to withstand Johnny's onslaught, it would be a player who's this tournament tough.
That's exactly what you have to do against Johnny, is mix up the short serves with the deep ones so that his first attack isn't that strong. With the pips, because there's no topspin on his first attack, you do have something to work with. There's a little mistiming there. I mean, swinging before the ball bounced isn't uncommon when Johnny's hitting the ball.
Because you're not quite sure when or where it's going to be. And Chuan's had a very businesslike approach to this match. He's not really been overly emotional. Even when he's hit the big shots, he's gone about his work, and he really sees the prize out there at the end of his effort.
That was a huge point right there, Johnny. Realizing it, down now 3-6. He gave away a chance to have the serve with the score even. Good combination platter there.
And when you go back and forth like that, Sean, what is the challenge that a player faces when you got to deal with the ball down the line, then the ball comes back at you 4 to 5 feet wider, trailing away from you, just a fraction of a second that delays your response. It means losing the point.
Right, really, the only thing you can do is hope that you can get the ball so that Johnny has to take one more extra step, because if he's planted and playing the backhand smash off the bounce on the backhand or the forehand smash off the bounce on the forehand, you're under his control, and it's basically he's playing you like a puppet. Look at this great shot. Oh,
it was there, I think so.
Outstanding. Both players about 15 feet from the table delivering knockout blows. Here we have the replay. A big forehand smash, forehand return, another forehand smash, backhand return, forehand smash, another backhand, missing only by the smallest of margins.
And in many cases when Chuan misses, which is not very often.
Not on that last shot either, up 8-5 now.
He has this confidence about it. He goes for everything. That is an extremely high-risk shot, and it's just like the one he just missed.
And again, we see that down the line paying big dividends. Here's Johnny again getting caught. Even though he's on the offensive prowl, Chuan able to add more tops into the ball than he was able to contend with. And we have our first timeout of this second semifinal.
It's a desperately needed break for Johnny Huang. He's got to sit down and talk to his coach and see if there is someone to derail this Taipei Express that he's facing.
Exactly. Right now, he does have a coach that he's getting some advice from. At the back of the court, he seems to be a little bit more frustrated at this point versus thinking about what tactics to use. As we also mentioned, that Chuan is here on his own.
And yeah, he's self-coached at this point. He considers his thoughts, walks back to the table, and it's business as usual, as well as he's played in 2001.
And I've seen both a pro and a con to having your coach or not having a coach with you. As one, it forces you to really be mentally aware of the tactics at hand versus relying on your coach to be able to give you suggestions or plays that they think might work. It forces you to really be on your toes, ready to go, and not actually wait for anyone else to save you.
Well, and this match, to a degree, is about life in the zone. Chuan Xiang is clearly in the zone right now. As you can see, even when he misses because he's able to swing free and aggressively.
Right, he's dictating the play. He's able to deal with Johnny's tempo so far, but again, a 3-point lead at 9-6 and 2-0 isn't as big as it might seem against most players.
And it's very unusual in this 2001 U.S. Open for Johnny Huang to be in a match where he himself is not dictating the pace and the style of play.
That was a great misdirection on the last point where Chuan had the forehand, stepped around the backhand to play it, but waited for Johnny to move a little bit closer to the middle before redirecting wide.
That's also part of being sharp, that extra time that you can do. And as he goes around the corner here, it looks like he has all the time in the world against one of the world's fastest players.
Exactly. Now with an 11-6 lead, things much more under his control. Sticking with the forehand serve. Look at that again. It's the misdirection. The ball's up that high. You can go to either corner with such ease that he'll wait to see if Johnny commits and then go the opposite direction. Here we see wait, and then boom, cross court to the backhand.
And what we're talking about here is special opportunity, because Chuan has never been past a quarterfinal of any of the regular Pro Tour events. So he's here in the semis, but just to go to the final, a big payday, touring on his own, and a lot on the line for this young man.
I think he will also be getting a couple of the bonus points with the ITTF Pro Tour by playing in North America, since this is his first time here.
Yeah, the tour is really designed to encourage these players to be out there every week, and there's a multiplier that's applied if they play on more than one continent. And Chuan is picking up those points, plus trying to charge all the way to the title.
Getting back to the Pro Tour the second time. I thought that ball might even hit Johnny very strong, telling him it's not quite over yet. Here we see the replay. A quick hit down the line, catching an edge ball back, smashing off the bounce, getting a loose play.
Just too much ground for Chuan to cover.
There was a chance for him with a backhand, but wasn't able to clear the net. Johnny now back to 9-13 with the serve. Johnny out of Toronto, Canada. Now
he's won 3 of the last 4. Scrambled himself back in, true to his reputation.
Now, if Chuan were to take a timeout without a coach, all he'd be basically doing is asking for a breather.
And he is taking the timeout that you predicted.
Had a feeling that things weren't going his way. I mean, if I was in his position with Johnny having a little mini comeback, now's the time to slow things down, kind of like playing hoops in the backyard, asking the guy to get off the foul line to play that next shot in horse or something.
Well, and I think that as the timeout has sort of integrated itself into the pro game, it's often taken with a lead to protect the lead.
Exactly. It's interesting to see often will the player call the timeout or the coach, and you're only allowed 1 per match. So you have to use it judiciously. Otherwise, if you use it in the 4th game, all of a sudden you need a 5th game timeout. You've used it up.
Big point here, biggest point of the match for Johnny.
Johnny can take this lead back to 14, 13, 12. There he goes. He's right back in it.
Again, over the last 3 or 4 points, he seems to be able to get the angles wider, stay up, and create more of a pressure situation.
Very nice opening with Johnny. The thing that won the point for him there was the backhand opening off of underspin. Normally with tips, it's tough to lift it, but Johnny made a huge swing. Was able to get it to clear the net and then put a little bit of topspin pressure, which you don't think of much from a pips player, but a little bit of topspin pressure on Chih. Now he's got the serve with only a 1-point lead, and Johnny's got the momentum right now.
A stern test for this young player.
Nice no-spin serve. Johnny able to keep it low. When you're returning the no-spin ball, the most difficult thing is not to pop it up. By keeping it low, forced an easy error.
This is now 5 in a row for Johnny Wong.
Exactly. See what type of serve we get. Another no-spin serve. Control shot. Oh, very good loop from Chuan at tie pointer to get his mini lead back. Here we have the replay. Short, Johnny with the opening, quick block. Topspin there, Johnny going long with the following block off the end of the table.
Again, a good combination of Chuan, forehand back.
It is so difficult playing against Johnny because after your serve, you're instantly on the defense. He picks up his attack off the bounce. Normally you like to play 1 or 2 shots before you have to worry about somebody driving the ball at you. And Johnny just quickly, 1 shot being hit. There you go. Back to 15-14.
But even on that point, Johnny had to win it twice. His first misdirect was great, but didn't finish it. And then he had to hit it in the second great shot to carry the point.
Final serve of this sequence. Net ball. Oh, and he wasn't able to take advantage of the lucky net ball off the 3rd rally.
It was really the first obvious mistake we've seen that wasn't a mistake of aggression. That was a ball that could have easily been dispatched and just wasn't quite there. Well, this is the Johnny Wong of the rest of this tournament.
Right. Again, he had a chance to get shut out, kept the pressure up. 15-all with the serve. Net serve. We saw Johnny start off the match with 3 net serves in a row, and we have seen recently more and more net serves just because players have fine-tuned their serve where it only goes over net by the slimmest of margins.
And as good as Chuan's backhand is, Johnny's working it. He's keeping the ball there.
Normally you'd say, well, just hit a lot of straight balls down the line, but off of Johnny gives you no time to react. And there's an unforced error off of the serve, and Johnny getting a little bit of a mini break himself.
He's played very well over the last 10 points. What an amazing spin on the ball right before Chuan struck it.
Yeah, the funny thing is Johnny does get a heck of a lot more spin with his pips than most players have ever seen. So.
And the string continues.
Timeout was the right idea, but it didn't stop Johnny from taking control. Now up 18-50. This game isn't over, but Johnny's definitely in the driver's seat. Very strong backhand play there. Actually, backhand hitting against Johnny's hit versus trying to just go into a heavy topspin.
The rat-a-tat-tat on this replay. He's right off the bounce. He's really not looping against that drive. He's hitting against the drive.
Got a little bit of a snap on his final backhand to bring it back to 18-16. He knows that he needs to win this game just to finish it quickly and not worry about Johnny getting a little bit of encouragement by sending it into a fourth. That's the problem there. You go from the backhand to the forehand, even though you normally would play against an inverted player with knowing what type of spin was coming over. Johnny's ball is so flat that when you lift up, there's nothing to bring it down. So you lift up thinking, okay, I'm looping a forehand, then all of a sudden you forget, well, wait a second, the ball had no spin. I needed to cover it.
Yeah, that was a big, big point for Johnny Huang.
Okay, remember, players should be able to get 3 on their serve. So down 19-16, you'd think you'd get to 19. The question is, can you get to 19 before the opponent will get that 21st point?
And again, at this level of play, the player with the ball in his hand can run 5.
Absolutely, and we've seen it many times on the Pro Tour. Oh, look at that mental error there. Going for too much, thinking about what I'm going to do on the next shot, and forgetting that you got to serve the ball on. Here you see in the replay, changing to a topspin serve. Last second, just served it long.
Sean, that ball struck very close to him in front of the table, which resulted in a long bounce.
And there's two quick mental errors. Johnny Huang has survived his first big scare.
And just like that, one serve, 1 point, and he went from not being in the match at all to being right where he needed to be to extend this contest.
A long flip off the table gives Johnny's 1 more lives, and we'll be back with more semifinal action here at the ITTF US Open Pro Tour. Didn't say.
Gentlemen, please take your seats. The match is about to start.
Chuan leads. Okay, to the bar. All set. Chuan to serve. Double.
Welcome back to Game 4 here at the US Open in Fort Lauderdale.
And we have a real turn of events here. Johnny Huang came from an even game down a little in the blue jersey here. He's now back in this match. He has a little momentum going. He has a young opponent who's been working hard to build his game and stay out on the tour. So Johnny has a chance to sneak one through.
As we mentioned earlier, we haven't seen anyone be able to smoke Johnny. He's always managed to come back in his 2 5-game victories along the way to get to the semifinal at the U.S. Open.
It'll be interesting now to look at Chuan. I think we want to watch his facial expressions, watch his body language, and see if he can sort of walk through the process of losing a little edge off his very sharp game and somehow recover that stroking ability.
As you mentioned earlier, Dave, with the young and the restless comparison, Johnny is the cagey veteran. He knows what it takes to make sure he doesn't lose as well as what it takes to win, and we had a chance there with that game. Look at that return. What a great shot. Oh, that's just power there. That's pure power by Johnny Huang of Canada.
And that's the first time in the match I think we've actually seen Chuan just fish. And he's not pleased with something, but I'm not sure what.
I think he believes that the ball that he hit possibly caught Johnny's shirt on the turnaround. And he thought, even though he was willing to play out the point, no, what's the deal? What's the deal? The ball must have hit his shirt.
And did they reverse it?
Yeah, Johnny gave him the point.
Again, that example of sportsmanship in table tennis you don't see in every sport.
I mean, when would you see that in a Pro Tour event of any type? A person needing a critical point to start off a 4th game or start a 2nd half, giving away a major point.
This speaks well to the tradition of this game.
What also tells you that Johnny wants to make sure if there's any close calls later on in the match that he gets the same reciprocation.
I think the crowd here senses that there's potentially a war underway. There's a little bit of a buzz around the arena. Not quite sure what's going to happen next.
Both players have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. That is pretty much the code of conduct on the Pro Tour, is that if you see a ball that hit the edge or maybe caught a shirt or hit a net that the umpire didn't see, that you will point it out. Again, it really speaks volumes for our game.
But it's impossible for Chuan to come out on this tour and not be aware of what it means to take a big match from Johnny Huang.
Exactly. Johnny's been in this position so many times, being a U.S. Open champion himself, and has played in the finals a number of times. So he wants to get it back to where he was a couple years ago while Chung is making a statement that, you know, I'm here to stay and I'm looking forward to the Pro Tour finals.
Well, I hate to think that we jinxed this young man, but about the time we were talking about how strong he was and how battle-hardened he was, that the level of his game dropped.
Yeah, right now with a 5-5 tie and the serve in game 4, we'll see if he decides to go with more of a topspin game to get Johnny off balance, or to let Johnny start the attack and be a little bit more of a counter puncher.
Occasionally, a young player won't have a beat game. That what they do is what they do. They focus on that, and there's not that experience factor there that says, I have another gear I can go to prevent a loss.
Exactly, and Chuan so far in the tournament has only been playing his A game. It's been pure power, more power than Krianga, who's one of the flashiest players on the European circuit, and then getting through in his last match against a teammate who also has quite a bit of power. I mean, he's just been going full bore from the start.
As you see from the replay here, these players are on the same level now. If Chuan had a fairly significant edge in technique just 25 points ago, it's gone. They are even.
That's a good combination there. You can see anytime he can get a ball to his backhand side to take it down the line to Johnny's forehand, that does open up the court a little bit more.
And again, perhaps because of the PIPS technology, when Johnny gets wide like that, a lot of balls go short.
Right, it's often because he's catching the ball late. That ball missed by just a hair. But if you can get a TIPS player out wide to the forehand, we'll see the replay here. Johnny stepping around, using a little bit more arm than body. Scores 7-all.
And at this point, the level of play dropped a little bit. What we're seeing is mistakes as opposed to winning.
And I think both these players realize that they don't want to deal with the strong shots of their opponent, so they're moving the ball a little bit more, so it's making it tougher, as we saw in Johnny 2 shots ago, to get that first attack in. So you see a little bit more placement now, and Johnny, I would say, of the 2 players, has more experience in the subtle game of moving the ball an inch or 2 left or right. You can see there, it might look like an easy mistake, but Johnny's placing it right in between the position where he'd play a backhand or a forehand, and if you're a half a second slow to making that shot, you're not going to have any power.
And Sean, was that shot a bounce and a half serve? It wasn't clearly a 2-bounce serve. It wasn't an easy ball off the end. It was that awkward spot.
Right. Anytime you can go right in between, and here's the nice backhand attack off the bounce again. Going first to the left on the previous serve, then going to the right. seeing if Johnny maybe served down the line a little bit to the forehand now. A little short, stuck around. Nice safe ball, but that might have been a mistake, and he got lucky on that one.
Well, Sean, in your experience, is there an argument that says at this point, because that Johnny's got him timed, that he may want to soften up and spin the ball rather than drive the ball?
No, Johnny wants to, well, Johnny's goal is to continue the same amount of pressure because it's just tough when somebody's faster than you are. Chuan, if he can get that first spin in with placement and some speed, then Johnny will be in a blocking mode. Once Johnny's blocking, then you can really jump on the ball, move Johnny around. Here you see the replay. Good top spin. Johnny's reaching for the ball. Problem is the timing and the lack of spin on Johnny's ball forces a lot of unforced errors.
And again, Johnny Huang on the blue representing Canada. His opponent from Chinese Taipei.
Johnny would like to add another U.S. Open title to his crown.
And at this point in his career, he wouldn't turn down the money.
The money is quite generous here.
$15,000 to win this tournament. Total purse available to U.S. Open this year, $81,000.
And Johnny's playing internationally in the leagues, both in Japan and in Europe. He's one of the most sought-after players for league play just because of his aggressive attacks on both the forehand and backhand side.
And Chuan also plays in the German leagues as we speak.
It's quite interesting the number of players from the Chinese national team that have taken and great return here. Another second head of the shot. Oh, big point for Johnny.
That was won and lost 2 or 3 times.
That 12-9 point was so big. Here we see a replay of it. Johnny sticking with the point, getting a net ball there. A backhand down the line, quick forehand off the bounce. His patented forehand cross court off the bounce shot. He knows now at 13-9, regardless of the next 3 points, he's going to be leading off of the service change. Good return, but Chuan of Taipei just too strong on the forehand flip.
His 4th game really pivotal at this point. Obviously, if you go to a 5th game, you got to say Johnny Huang is the 5th.
Especially with the path he's taken to get here.
And again, his march to this match includes 2 5-game wins over Robert Cardos in a round of 32. That was 24-22 in the 5th. And then he upset world number 10, Werner Schlager, 23-21 in the 5th. So he has experience in these 5-game matches. And if Juan wants to beat him, he really should beat him here.
Right, the thing that impressed me, Dave, about the match with Schlager of Austria was Johnny was up 2-0 and then dropped 2. And normally you think, well, gosh, there's no momentum left. Johnny stuck with it, and managed to come through in a great deuce game that all the fans were up on their feet chanting, and Johnny gave it a few fist pumps afterwards.
And he led all the way late in that 50. Didn't hold the lead and still steadied up to take the lead.
That's just his experience. And again, here's a great combination. They were serving to the middle, hitting the first third ball attack wide off to the backhand side, which for all intents and purposes, Chuan couldn't ever step around that ball. It's just too wide.
And Johnny has him timed now. There's no doubt that he's seeing the ball better than he did just 2 games ago.
And they're playing on Johnny, timing and Johnny's rhythm right now. If he can get to 16-13, 17-13, look for it to be a 5th game match. Johnny with the serve, sticking with the forehand serve. Generally, he's an 80% forehand server, 20% backhand, and when things aren't going well, you'll see him quickly jump over to the backhand. Great placement, Backhand wide, middle.
He's clearly the aggressor at this point. Earlier for example, the points of the 2nd game, they were even. Now, Chuan is giving the ground. Johnny's hitting the ball side to side, left to right, and gaining a little advantage on every stroke in the round.
Chuan is definitely playing just the receiving it, get the ball back over the net where Johnny's dictating placement and position. That's an example of what I've had to do when I dealt with Johnny in a number of American and North American tournaments was he gets you smashing. And that's the worst thing because all loopers like to add topspin. Here's Johnny smashing with the forehand, smashing again, and you can't get his ball back. It's too flat, too low.
And too fast.
Too fast. That's the bottom line, is the speed of Johnny Huang. There's another great combination there.
That's the ball that would have been a clean winner for Chuan just 2 games ago.
And it's frustrating for Chuan even. I mean, you can see him kind of looking upward. What do I have to do? And what can you do with speed? I mean, speed kills, and Johnny's killing the ball right now.
Yeah, speed's very difficult to teach.
At 18-12 down in the fourth, or up 2 games to 1, but down in the fourth. Johnny feeling very comfortable knowing that he can win this game 12 or 13. He's going to actually set the tone for the first few points in game 5. And Johnny has been coming out of the gate quite well off of his opponent's serve.
In a 5th game, all bets are off, by the way.
And I would have to give the edge to Johnny with the experience and the fact that he did come back down 2 games to 1, where he did face the 1-game elimination.
And Chuan goes to a backhand serve and muffs it.
He just basically said, let's get out of here.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a break.
Without a coach, this is a real tough situation to be in.
Decide who advances for the $15,000 show.
Very stern test as Johnny talks to his coach.
Here we Welcome back to the men's semifinal action at the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center, site of the ITTF Pro Tour and US Open.
And the toughest moment of this tournament for young Chuan Chih, having played well for the entire week. He stands now in your screen there in the red jersey. 2 games each against Johnny Huang, vastly more experienced and certainly on a roll.
Johnny, world 37, starting to serve. Oh, first edge ball of the game. With
and Chuan really would benefit from a strong start on Johnny Huang's serve.
Chuan will be serving at the end of the game since Johnny's starting if it goes to the final 5 service sequences, but he would like to get a nice little lead again. But there we go. Oh, Johnny's able to contain it. That's what it's going to come down to. Can Johnny contain that first heavy topspin to really set the pace and get his flat smash into play?
There's been a remarkable turn of events since the first 2 games where Chuan's precision was there and his execution was at 95%, high percentages, and he's the one making the mistakes.
And neither one of these players will have any timeouts left. They've both used them. Chuan might wish he had his since won the tip really didn't stop any of the bleeding in the third game.
And although Johnny Huang is a 38-year-old and clearly not the younger of the 2 players, he seems to have a bit of a conditioning edge here because he's not the one that's been doing the running.
All right, he stays up at the table, though his first shot, he has to make a quick reactive move. Once he makes that first attack, he generally can stay on pretty much in one spot. As you see Chuan here off the table covering a lot more ground. And Johnny now with the first held the serve, so he's doing good there with the 3-2 lead.
But his lot is cast here, and Chuan's got to get on his horse and run those balls down and try to recover the level of execution that he had in the first 2 games of the match.
Interesting to see if he stays with the serves to the middle of the table, or if he actually takes some chances and goes deep. Oh, nice net ball that helps Johnny there.
The other point, Sean, will be if this match does go late into the 5th, and the crowd begins to become involved in every point, which of these players will respond more positively to that kind of pressure?
My guess is that Johnny will have a little bit of the home crowd attendance. We do have a number of Canadians here at the US Open, and after seeing him dodge the bullets in the quarters and the 8ths to win, I think that he's got the fan support.
Now, only on the 8th point of the match, Chuan really has to stay in contact. He can't afford to go down 7-3 or 8-2 this early in this pivotal game.
That was a great backhand loop on the last point. Here we see it again. Nice short ball, Johnny, with an opening flip, but a quick backhand that catches Johnny backpedaling to take it back to 3-5. Chuan from Taipei with the serve. There's that little risky serve that I thought we might be seeing as he went out to the forehand, got the ball, but couldn't connect. And Johnny realizing afterwards that this was a good shot. You see him catching it late, but then not being able to convert that point to go down 3-6. A must point.
A little bit of hesitation in Chuan there, but not knowing where to place that.
Extremely smart. What guts to go for it a second time, thinking that well, Johnny's putting that one off to the side, that I don't have to worry about that for another 10 shots. Excellent.
Really took a bit of a risk there. But he's kept himself in touch now. Critical, pivotal play he made.
Johnny's taking his time, realizing he needs to hold 3 off of his serve to keep that lead. Excellent placement. Short to the backhand, soft opening, and then a power play right down the middle. Here we see it again. Bingo, right to the middle, jam in Chuan. Up 7-4 now with the serve.
Has Chuan lost a little bit of rotation off his ball at this point? Off the serve?
Johnny's able to get into more of the flat shots, which has been what he's been doing all tournament long, which is move the ball around a little bit and just flatten out the shot, flatten out the trajectory of the ball, which just shortens your time for reaction, often getting a lot of unforced errors. Though Chuan, of all the players, he's so fast, you think like he'd be able to adapt, but as we said, Johnny does have the quickest hands on the Pro Tour right now.
And it seems like he has picked up the pace significantly over the last 3 games. Players will switch when the first one of them reaches 10 in this 5th game.
Try to give each player an equal number of points on each side of the table. And Johnny knows that these 2 points can really set the stage for the person who's going to reach 10 first. See if it goes again. First, he's going to the middle, then a wide attack, or if he's going to start with the wide serve and then go to the middle. Okay, there's the middle again. Somewhat middle again, and then a mistimed backswing. Just again, you're too far from the net to make that strong of a shot.
Is the skill level at this level enough that these consistent shots we've seen the replay down the middle tie up Chuan's footwork?
Well, he's definitely getting tied up, and Johnny's doing such a good job of moving the ball, but at the same time changing the pace on it, so where you're constantly mentally thinking, what do I have to do to keep up with this speed? So it's more of just a mental drain, I think, on Chuan's part of, I can't keep up with this fast attacking on me, as well as the ball placement moving left and right. There's a nice little misdirection on his own part.
That's an important point to stay close, to stay in touch, and to really live in the here and now. He can't afford to live in those first 2 games and wonder what that was about. That doesn't matter at this point.
And Johnny's done a great job of playing 1 point at a time with this replay. See Johnny backhand topspin, but not being able to cover the wide forehand. So we do see he is susceptible to a shot down the line, but it's off of one of his attacks, and who wants to have Johnny Huang attacking at you?
The last 2 big points at Chuan's one have both been at Johnny Huang's court.
There's an easy unforced error, and it just looks like a little, here we're going to change sides at 10. Here's the replay. Nice serve. Seems an easy return, but again, touching the net and going off.
And again, we have only 2 points here that made a big difference. If those 2 forehands that were up, this would be an even match.
What Johnny's doing right now in his mind, he's thinking, imagine the scores 2016. Let me get this 11 point so I can guarantee I'll have the edge with the serve. There he goes. Now he's in full control. He can freewheel a little bit more. Look for him to maybe be a bit more aggressive on the serve, just because he can begin to expand on his lead. Too many short pushes in a row to keep the pressure on there. Here we see it again. Bing with the big forehand. Johnny a little slow to the forehand. 7-11. I don't know if it was an edge or if it was just such a fast return that Johnny said, sorry, got kind of caught you flat-footed there. Johnny's balls traditionally go to the end of the table, so it wouldn't be a surprise if there was a skidder by hitting the white line. There, Johnny with a little sigh of relief there and a yaw to go up 13-7 with the serve.
A big mountain now for the young player from Chinese Taipei.
Johnny can't start thinking about the finals quite yet, though the experience factor is big. Chuan, I'm sure he's thinking about, I had it, what went wrong? He's still fresh. It's not like he's tired and he can't move the ball. It's just that Johnny's been playing mental games and placement games with him over the last 5 games.
Very different matchup now. Johnny Huang's backhand is clearly the superior of the 2 strokes when they go to cross court, as we see in the
Now we see
replay.
Johnny with the good opening, backhand, sticking it wide to the backhand. Chuan just lunging at it, hopefully trying to get it over net, but no avail. Good try, good try. Even though Johnny missed that ball, he at least felt he was making the aggressive shot down the line, but too much topspin from the young Taipei player.
And Johnny Huang's able, you see in the replay here, to continuously take the ball off the bounce, direct it from side to side on the table, and take a very aggressive shot with a lead.
But he wasn't out of position on the last shot, even though it was a risky shot with the down the line play.
Is he tougher to handle now with this lead than he would be even?
Johnny's tough anytime because if you're up on him, he can come back by some high-risk shots. If he's up on you, he even freewheels more. So what you have to do is, again, keep him close at hand. Don't let him expand. If you can stay up on him, that's great. But the problem is you can't ever count him out because the experience. He's played internationally for Canada for the last, I guess, probably 8 years, and before that, he was a strong player in China. So you just hope that you don't draw him. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what Schlager and all the other people are wishing that, couldn't I have played somebody else? Here's a replay on the last ball.
And again, a push that was a little too high. Johnny steps in, cracks it cross court as he has in his 5th game, and now he's very much in charge. 9-6. If there's anything left in this match for Chuan, we have to see it over the next 2 or 3 points.
My guess is he's going to add a little bit more spin to his loop to reduce the margin of error because Johnny's ball is so flat. So look for him not to take such big swings, but to stay closer to the table, to spin up on the ball, get it on the table. There again, Johnny just causing him trouble with footwork. Johnny looking very confident right now, eyeing a spot in the finals with Liu Guzhong from China. There's net ball, great backhand kill. Look at that combination. Oh, that's too much. That's too powerful.
Very strong. He's knocking on the door.
Here we see a great reply, Johnny, with a backhand smash, another backhand smash off bounce, forehand down the line. Just too impressive for this young player.
And as we've noted over the last 2 games, especially, Johnny Huang has played almost a stationary game.
Oh, what a recovery on that backhand by Johnny. I think the ball was actually past him before he was able to recover and somehow bring it back onto the table.
We have a small mistake on the score here. The point was attributed to Chuan, and Johnny's coach noted that, and it's now correctly read at 10-19.
At 19-11, Johnny's almost guaranteed a spot in the finals, but still have to do some final paperwork here, scoring the last 2 points.
And what a tournament he will be having if he does close this door and walk into the finals. 3 big 5-game wins in his last 4 matches.
I'm sure it'll spearhead him to the next tournament, the Korean Open, in September on the ITTF Pro Tour, where he can continue to add points to his total for the ITTF Pro Tour Finals.
2011 score.
Looks like Chuan has actually conceded this match. He went for a very aggressive shot off of Johnny's serve, and look for Johnny just to play a safe low ball off his serve, hopefully get an errant reply.
He will clearly have some opportunity in the coming days.
And there he is, Johnny Huang. The elder statesman makes a return visit to the U.S. Open men's singles final.
And Johnny Huang right now is neither young nor restless, but certainly pleased with his outcome.
Here we see the final replay one more time. Johnny smashing off bounce, showing signs of victories and thanks to his fans.
Bowing to the crowd here in Fort Lauderdale.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final round starts in 3. Come back.
Johnny getting some congratulations from
Doing
his
a-
coach and the umpires,
A victory lap, if you will, all the way around the arena.
and giving that net shirt ball. Obviously, let the ping pong gods spurn the victory.
And he will need that and more as he faces Liu Buzhong in the finals of the U.S. Open ITTF Pro Tour.
And we'll be back with the men's final after these messages.